Hey guys, this is Mike Mahaffey, the old bastard BJJ guy, here for BJJ Mental Models. Back in my day, we had to walk uphill in the snow both ways to get to the academy just to learn some crappy technique from a random purple belt. You kids have it so easy because now you can just subscribe to BJJ Mental Models Premium and get tons of great audio courses to learn new techniques, enhance your mindset, and entertain yourself. You can even get personalized rolling reviews from some of your favorite BJJ Mental Models coaches, including me. It's like having your own seminar, you spoiled little whippersnappers. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe to BJJ Mental Models Premium right now, get off my lawn, and go train.
Hey, welcome to BJJ Mental Models. I'm Steve Kwan. BJJ Mental Models is your guide to a conceptual and intelligent jiu-jitsu approach. And in this week's mini episode, I want to talk about a concept that comes from the traditional martial arts in Japan. It's called Tokui Waza. That's a Japanese term, and it translates roughly to favored technique. Where you'll hear about this is in Judo. In the Judo canon, there are over 60 recognized techniques, but a good judoka is not using all of those techniques equally. Part of the process of becoming good at judo usually involves narrowing your focus down so that there's only a handful of throws, maybe 2 or 3, that you're really using a lot of the time, and your whole game plan is built around getting to those throws. So you're not necessarily using every technique equally, but rather you are preferring the things that you're good at. This ties into what we talked about in the earlier episodes about a zone of genius and about funneling, how we build a game plan that takes us to our area of strength. Good judoka will do this, where they will know what their Tokui Waza is, and they will build funnels where their setups take them into that throw. Over time, as you develop an area of strength, it's natural for your game plan to evolve so that all of the things you're doing funnel into that area of strength. Tokui Waza is a really cool concept, and if you want to learn about concepts for martial arts, study the traditional martial arts. I know we often favored Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because we think of it as more realistic, but traditional martial arts have hundreds, if not thousands of years of history and thinking behind them. And there are a lot of really great concepts that we can derive from those traditional martial arts, Tokui Waza being one of them. I also love the idea because it reminds me of how in professional wrestling, the wrestlers have a signature move, and when they pull that off, it's very likely to end the fight. It's really funny because I always thought professional wrestling was a little bit silly in that all of these wrestlers have a finishing move, and if they can hit that, the fight's probably over, but nothing else is going to end the fight. It's the finishing move that does. No one ever wins a professional wrestling match with a back body drop. It's always their finishing move. And I used to think that was ridiculous, that they needed this finishing move to end the fight. I thought it was so unrealistic. But of course, now being a jiu-jitsu black belt and learning about concepts like Tokui Waza, I realized that actually there is some truth to this. It's not that one technique is just inherently better, but it is more that our training makes it so. When we invest in an area of skill, our zone of genius, over years and years of training, we get so incredibly good at a few things that it makes sense to focus on doing those things because we're more likely to win. And then we'll start to, again, evolve funnels that take us into that area of the sport. Now, the thing about Tokui Waza, the flip side of this, though, is when we are in an environment where we need to win, like a competition, we want to lean on our Tokui Waza because we want to play our A game. We want to do the things that are most likely to get us the win. However, when you're in the training room, it's a totally different story. If you only ever play your A game in the training room, if you only ever use your Tokui Waza, then what winds up happening is you just never develop skills outside of that area. And that can hinder your growth because there might be other moves, other techniques that either you haven't used before or you're just not good at, that have the potential to become a Tokui Waza for you in the future, but you'll never know that if you don't train those things diligently. So when we're in the training room, we must remember that the focus of the training room is not to win, it is to learn. And that means that instead of leaning into our Tokui Waza, we may want to lean away from that and focus on other things that are more novel to us, things that we're not so good at, in the hopes that we develop up those skill sets. The consequence of this is that we will lose a lot more in the gym if we use these unfamiliar techniques as opposed to just using our Tokui Waza. But the goal in the gym is not to win. The goal in the gym is to get better. And that is why we always talk about shelving your ego when you're in the gym. Avoiding the need to win when there are no stakes. That's why it's so important in the gym that we're not always trying to seek victory, because the desire to seek victory encourages us to use our A game, our Tokui Waza, and to neglect the areas of skill that we could otherwise develop. So there you go. The long and the short of it is that Tokui Waza means your favored move. Everyone is going to develop these over time. Professional wrestling was right. And when we're competing, we want to leverage our Tokui Waza and build funnels to take us to those favored techniques. But when we're in the gym trying to develop skill, we may want to place handicaps on ourselves and avoid using our Tokui Waza so that we can develop other skills. A really cool concept from the Japanese martial arts. I hope you liked this episode. I will put links to relevant other mini episodes in the show notes, so if you're interested in learning more about strategy in jiu-jitsu, you can go to those. Everything we make lives at bjjmentalmodels.com. That's where you can get every episode of our main podcast and our mini episodes like this one completely free. You can also sign up for our newsletter, which I definitely think you should do. And if you want to go to the next level with us, BJJ Mental Models Premium is how you do that. All of that is at bjjmentalmodels.com, and I will put a link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening as always, and we'll talk to you next time.